Hello there. I am Scott Garner, and I'm just here for a moment to make sure that the stream is working. So now I will add everybody else, and we will get started. So I guess I get to be first on the list. So I will add Nandini and Stephen and Alex and Alana and Marin. And okay, so here we are. So Nandini, I will pass it to you to introduce this.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nandini. I am the director of CETI, a Creative and Emergent Technology Institute, along with many, many other people. And we're really excited to sort of tell you about XRchive, our project that we are launching, and we hope you will join. We started thinking about ways that people could use new technologies, XR, to tell stories in the streets, in place of memories, of history, of cultural events, of environmental events, but stories that they could talk to each other without being mediated by a library or a screen. And so here's XRchive. You're gonna learn more about it in this conversation. Our community sort of collaborative participatory creation of XR stories and experiences that hopefully all of you will help create over the next year or two. You're going to hear different things about it, and there'll be time to ask questions, but I'm going to pass it on to Stephen to tell you a little bit more about the project, and we'll each talk about it, and there'll be time at the end to talk a little bit more about how to get involved. So.
Sure. Thank you, Nandi. Yeah, I think I'm sharing my screen now. We've created a small deck to kind of get people some quick information about the project. We have a little bit of text around the project, which I won't read through, but it's here to kind of give you some background on this. As Nandi mentioned, we're focusing on using XR technology, extended reality, including AR, VR, projection mapping, and other tools like 360 video to tell some stories here. We are looking for partners right now to help bring these stories to life. And since we're located in Portland, there's two specific stories that we're interested in telling, which I'll just quickly highlight. And especially if there are people out there who are invested in these stories or have knowledge around them, or who just want to unearth some of these stories, we'd love to have you involved. The two main stories that we have are emphasizing themes of migrations and displacements, specifically around social and systemic injustice, exclusion, racism, erasure in Portland, Oregon, which I think has a very long and deep history in those areas. The first story we're looking at is the Albina region in northeast Portland, and some of the history behind it, the displacement of people within the region, I guess, erasure of culture, and things of that sort. The next story is looking at some of the unmarked graves of Chinese immigrant railroad workers in Southeast Portland. There's, I believe, what was the cemetery? Like the Douglas Fir or something cemetery?
The Lone Fir Cemetery.
Or Lone Fir.
Yeah, where they recently found these unmarked graves when they were scanning for development. So yeah, we want to sort of actually have a reflection on labor and on issues of erasure of this, who actually created Portland and how we remember them.
Yeah, and I think XR is just a really great platform to tell these stories because it allows us to engage with the real world with augmented reality, but also create these really immersive stories and experiences. And just to give you a flavor of what these kinds of projects could be, because for some people this might be some new technology, we've collected a few examples that we thought might relate to the project, and we have some people who actually have worked on these projects. So I'm going to pass it over to Alex, who worked on this project called Freedom Constellations. And if you have access to this deck later, you can click on the links to get more information on each of these.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I thought I could just kind of go through a couple of projects we've done over the years with a group called Performing Statistics, and they're based in Richmond, Virginia. They're an art activism group that are working to end youth incarceration. In Richmond, Virginia, youth incarceration is, I think, the highest in the country. This is a photograph of a virtual reality exhibit that we created for them. And it was designed as kind of a police training exhibit. So there were a number of different installations, and it ended with a VR experience where you get to see what it's like inside one of the cells. And so these are some of the other the pieces at the installation. And you can see where some of the judicial officers and police officers were being trained. The experience itself puts you inside a cell, and the audio is driven by the youth that have gone through the incarceration system there, and kind of hearing about their dreams, how their lives kind of got put on hold, and it's a kind of an empathy experience. So that's a VR example. We've also done some work with them in the augmented reality space, where we augmented a 160-foot tall banner on City Hall in Richmond. These are some storyboards that were kind of done with the youth as kind of a way to sketch out some of their ideas and how to kind of tell a story that gets projected over City Hall. So kind of the dreams of the youth are shown over City Hall. And this is what it actually looked like there. It's still up. It goes for another few months. It's a 6-month installation. So this, you can see this kind of from airplanes, even as you fly over the city. If you hold up your phone, you get to see, let's see, these are just some more stills of, this is when we released the experience to the public, we had a lot of news coverage. And then when you actually get to view the experience, it kind of brings their artwork, it projects it over the building, and I'll just play a very short little clip of this so you can kind of see the types of animations that are being played. So I think we'll go into this in more detail at another talk. I think in the next few weeks we'll kind of do a deep dive into these projects if you guys are interested. But for now, that's just a little teaser. I can pass it back to Scott.
Yeah, I'm actually going to jump in and say, stay tuned, follow the CETI channel, because we will have a talk with Alex and Performing Statistics, and as well as a few other people who've created experiences like this over the next few weeks. And Alex's experience the VR experience will be in the lab during the December creative brainstorming session if you join that. So we hope you sort of play with some of these and look at the deck and learn a little bit more about potential ideas and come up with your own ideas for projects.
Cool. So I will jump in and I'm going to do my signature move, which is to show something that looks like slides, but is actually my notes. So pretend like these are helpful slides, but they're really here to help me remember what I'm talking about. So my name is Scott Garner, and I'm an artist who lives and works in Portland, Oregon. And I've kind of played various roles with CETI, but in XRchive in particular, I'm kind of interested in where the creative meets the technology part. So obviously there's a big technology component to this. So that's one of the things I'm going to talk about a little bit today, especially in terms of if you're kind of on the fence or curious about this project in terms of what the technology is. I want to speak to you for a moment and talk about what we have in mind, but also we're interested in what you have in mind as well. And so I just want to say quickly, I work with technology. I do lots of apps and installations. I do hybrid physical digital experiences, but I do a lot of things with VR and AR, and especially in recent years. And some of my favorite projects in that realm, I think, are pretty applicable to XR. So I want to very briefly just allude to 2 projects I worked on. One I worked on this year was an app called Kinfolk, and I had a small part in this project, and my hope is that we can get them to talk too. But it kind of arose out of the controversy with the Confederate monuments and removing those monuments, but that kind of left space for the question of if those, if these monuments are removed because those people shouldn't have monuments, who should have monuments that aren't there? And so a group called Movers and Shakers put together this app. You can actually get it at the apps from both the Google Play Store and the iOS Store now. But the idea was to let people with with an augmented layer, which currently is kind of a total Wild West, open, unregulated world. You can't really go into Times Square and just paint things on the walls, but you can certainly add an augmented layer on the walls without getting into too much trouble. And so the idea here was to let people place these monuments to people from Black history, and sort of explore those people, learn about those people, take shots of them in different places. So I'm hoping soon to have them speaking. But I liked that kind of guerrilla aspect to that, the idea of you can sort of just as an individual or as a community group have the opportunity to go out in the world and have some ownership over space where you generally don't have a lot of ownership. And another recent project was for a group called MOMAR, and again, hoping to have them speak very soon. And the idea there was to go into MoMA and use existing paintings. In this case, it was in the Jackson Pollock Gallery, to use a custom app that they released to put contemporary artists' artwork over this artwork that has gone through sort of this curatorial process. So again, kind of a much more open experience. And so that's very much the spirit I'm interested in. And so looking at kind of what are the tools that are available, and who is this project for? And so I'm going to take the cop-out answer and say it's kind of for everybody. So both if you're brand new to this stuff, you're kind of interested in it, you've heard the terms, you've maybe seen a few things, but you're interested in learning how it's done, whether you're interested in the software and programming side or in the content creation side. Our aim is to kind of cover all of those things and facilitate exploration for all of those things. So if you just want to learn and experiment, I think XRchive is a great place for that. Or if you have a story that you think is well suited to that, but you don't feel like you necessarily understand the technology, it might be really helpful, potentially helpful for you to come and learn a little bit more. But we're also, you're very welcome if you have some expertise with any of these tools or any of these platforms. It might be an opportunity to you to sort of offer some mentorship or support people building something, or potentially to work on something bigger than you might be able to work on yourself. So skill level is not a question. I mean, all skill levels are welcome, but really if this is something that you're brand new to and you find it interesting, hopefully through the course of the project, you will come out learning a lot and come out having worked on a significant completed piece. So one thing I do want to say, and this is kind of the thing I'm really focused on, is we don't want to be very prescriptive about the technologies. So we have some technology partners that we've talked to. We have lots of access to hardware and software and very smart, talented people. But rather than saying, this is the tech we're going to use and this is what you have to use, what are you going to do with it? Our aim is to sort of put people together and let the ideas emerge from that. And it's fine if in some cases the technology inspires people and they really are interested in working with a particular piece of technology. That's great. If people are really interested in working with a specific around a specific story and they just need help kind of figuring out the technology around it, that's great too. So there's no kind of overarching rules here, other than kind of neither is in charge. The stories are very important, but if the aim is to find the right technology with the right story, with the right creative people and the right content creative people, and put those people together and then facilitate in whatever way we can to let those projects move forward. So in terms of what we have for hardware resources and things you can kind of learn and experiment with, we have a long list of things. We've been building out the CETI labs. So we have desktops and laptops. We have high-end VR rigs. We have standalone VR headsets. We have a 3D scanner. We have 360 cameras and various other cameras and other equipment for just producing content. We also have access to projectors and projection mapping tools, and lots of other stuff that you can play with and experiment. So even if you feel like you have a good understanding of this world, we might just have something that you want to play with. Like maybe you just want to come in and play with our 3D scanner, things like that. So we will aim to not only have these resources in terms of just the tangible resources, but also people that know how to use them and can kind of help get you off the ground with them. And to that effect, we do have workshops and trainings coming up soon, both for these and for various other tools and equipment that
and maybe
CETI has available.
I'll jump in there, Scott, and say, like, maybe Alana wants to talk a little bit more about the workshops and education and all of that too.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll jump in. Can we go to the slide for who should participate?
Yes. Is that on Stephen's screen?
I have it pulled up right now.
Yes,
Yeah, we
who
just
should
switched.
join? Cool, thank you. Yeah, so hi, my name is Alana Reese. I'm an artist and an instructor at Portland State University, and I teach interactive media classes. So I have this weird like art background and also technology background. And the reason I love working on CETI projects is because I don't have to know anything about the technology that is being used at the time, or I can decide to use a technology I've never tried before. And it's a really incredible, warm, inviting space where everybody is either a beginner or is incredibly generous with their time and expertise. So it's just a really incredible community. And so who should join? Kind of everyone. And even if you're not interested in XR or VR, you don't want to get into it, but you are a lover of the hidden histories of Portland and want to get involved in that, in research. If you want to just be on a design side, help with design. If you love video or collecting audio, all these things we need. So yeah, it's really open to kind of anything you can imagine. And so it's a really great way to kind of get more involved in the Portland community. It's great for teachers and professionals to kind of beef up their skills. It's great for students to be able to work on, more creative projects, or, projects that are more along your lines of interest, or expand your lines of interest. And it's a really fun time. So that's it. And, it's all free, and you can kind of commit to whatever time you have. So it's really open in that way. And we'll be sharing info, but most importantly, there's a form. Maybe we should jump to that page real quick, but there's a form that you can fill out that just says, hey, I'm really interested in XRchive and working on this Portland project. And you can fill that out, and you'll be on our mailing list and can get kind of on board that way and hear about workshops and meetings in the future. Yeah, so let's see. Who should I pass it on to?
Oh, Marin, do you want to?
Marin.
Yes. Thanks, Alana. Hi, my name is Marin, and I am an artist and interaction designer, a technologist, and also an activist. And I am going to be I'm living in LA, but I'm going to be part of this project as a support person and as a 3D artist, and to just help with the conceptualizing and also the making of this project. I used to live in Portland and worked with Nandini for a long time, and I'm an active member of CETI. So yeah, I've been working on kind of planning the start of this project, and I'm really excited to be here with everyone and to do the project. So yeah, as an artist, I kind of just want to talk about this project in the lens of art and social change, and just like how as artists we have power and agency to affect social change, and how we can kind of do that through participation in this project, and just how important that really is. And like right now we're just really living in this moment where educational fields, social movements, and knowledge bases are all converging through digital media, and visual aesthetics are driving these media platforms. So as the use of online media platforms expands and visual culture becomes even a more dominant force in our communication, as artists, artists play a vital role in the technological advancement of civilization in general. So I see our most profound impact as artists and designers in the roles we choose within this technological evolution. And we know that technology is not unbiased, and that representation in these virtual spaces is absolutely essential to creating an equitable culture. And XRchive contributes to this inclusive and forward-thinking digital arts culture through collaborative research and co-creation that allows communities to tell their own stories in this virtual augmented reality space. And yeah, like just this methodology of working, really collaborating, co-creating with the community furthers this digital inclusion within virtual spaces, as it highlights unrepresented perspectives and stories. It engages communities in the use of technology. It also engages community members in yeah, in telling their own stories and using this technology to tell their stories. So I think as an artist, there's so many different ways to participate in you know, moving forward this social change through a project like XRchive. So I think, you know, whether you're a painter or a 3D artist or a writer, like all of those skills are just so vital to this process, because we not only need to listen to these stories and hear them and understand them, but we need to translate that into a visual aesthetic. We also need to translate that into script and audio. And we also need to, you know, like make beautiful things on paper that can be translated into a virtual world. So I think there's really endless possibility for all forms of art to participate. And I especially recommend, if you're passionate about social justice, just to get involved in this as an artist. I think it's going to be a really valuable experience and have like a real world impact that's really important. So, yeah. Oh, and then I will pass.
Thank you.
The
I'm going to
mic.
jump back in and
Yes.
yes. So yeah, we've talked already about how to join, register. We'll add this video and the deck to the website. So go to the CETI website and the project page for XRchive. But also just email hello@ceti.institute if you think of different ways to participate. And I want to say that there are two themes that have come up, but one is this notion of participatory learning. These are new technologies that are constantly changing, and as we go through our project, we will keep changing, and you can suggest technologies. This is a different way to learn that is not informal, not academic, but through making something about something we care about. So think of this as an opportunity to get skills in a very new technology, an opportunity to repurpose tools for different imaginative uses. And even if you don't want to work with art and technology, but you have ideas for what stories should be told, you have memories, or you have ideas, a vision for what should be somewhere, bring those ideas. We will have options to drop in. Go to the Eventbrite page for workshops, the CETI Eventbrite page, and go to our website for drop-in sessions for speakers, notes about speakers, and also we're going to hold a big creative brainstorming session, both in person and virtual, in early December, and I hope you will join all of us. The goal of CETI is to be this sort of space where people can participate and learn and create together around issues they care about and around sort of imaginative, really creative uses of technology and tools. So if you have questions, if you think of someone, if you're not sure this is the right, you know, you have an idea but you're not sure, just reach out. We'd be really excited. This project is not determined. You're going to help figure out exactly the tours, and you might take some of the skills you learn and use it in completely different ways. So that's kind of what we're hoping, that you create your own XR experiences as well. So thank you all for listening. And the last thing I'll mention is this project is a work in progress. We're launching it. We hope to have making experiences and shows, but we also need people to support and fund this project so that all the people involved can have the time and the resources to engage as fully as they can. So if you would like to support or sponsor or donate to this project, we would be very grateful. Reach out to hello@ceti.institute. Thank you.
All right. I think that will do it for all of us. So I will move all of us one at a time in a very dramatic way. And I will say one thing, we definitely keep your eyes on this channel, because we will have some streams up soon with hopefully with Alex talking about projects and various other people talking about projects. So thanks for joining us. Goodbye.